ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुर्उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागररघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा संगललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we will continue from Canto 1, Chapter 6. Prash, can you share the screen, please?
Sure,
Canto
bro.
1, Chapter 6, Text 17.
Please give me a moment. I'm sharing.
Is Sneha Mataji there? Snehal
Yes,
Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Mataji, would you mind reading 1.6.17?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
प्रेमातिभर निर्भिन्न पुलकाग्नोति निवृतः आनंद संप्लवे लीनो नामश्य मुभये मुने O Vedvyasa, at the time being exceedingly overpowered by the feeling of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Being absorbed in the ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord.
So Narada Muni is explaining the moment when he sees the Supreme Lord. But this is very rare, right? How do you ever get to interact with somebody who has seen Krishna face to face, right? But we are very fortunate that in our disciplic succession, we have Sri Narada Muni, who is one of our gurus in the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. And Narada Muni is personally speaking about his experience of meeting Krishna face to face and how much joy he experienced. So I'm going to explain that one more time. Read that. O Vyasadev, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by the feeling of happiness, right? Like sometimes, when we are intoxicated, we are overpowered by the feeling of whatever we are drinking. Or let's say sometimes when we are very proud, we are overpowered by pride. That's how we think who we are and all that. So in this case, overpowered by happiness, meaning he's saying that so happy that every part of my body became separately enlivened. So the fingers, the toes, the hand, the legs, the neck, the face, everything is separately enlivened by the experience of joy of meeting the Supreme Lord face to face. And being absorbed in the ocean of ecstasy. Now, we don't even understand what the ocean of water is. It is so vast, right? So ocean of water is so vast. I was just watching the other day, some ships, massive Chinese ships that are being floated. And in that, it was massive, but when they show it from the helicopter view, it's like a tiny speck. And when there is this turbulence in the ocean, the ship is dropping off all these containers, which are massive. But in the big scheme of things, you will never find those containers because the ocean is so large. And that is just a material ocean of water, salt water. What to speak of the spiritual ocean of joy. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Ambudhi. Anandam Buddhi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Shikshashtakam verses that Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, the ocean of happiness, Vardhanam, ecstatically growing perpetually. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. So that's what Narada Muni is experiencing. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing as in the garb of a devotee. And that's what we will experience when we get to meet Krishna. And that happiness cannot be explained through material words, right? That is only something when we experience, we realize what has hit us. So being absorbed in that ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord, right? It just gets so ecstatic that you go blank. And I was explaining to you the other day how Dhruva Maharaj, same situation. He was so angry with his father. He wanted a kingdom bigger than his father and grandfather, right? Bigger than Lord Brahma. And when he meets the Supreme Lord face to face, he's spellbound. He can't speak. And Lord Narayan had to gently tap him on the head with his conch, with his shankha. And then Dhruva Maharaj was back in consciousness to able to just speak to the Lord. It was so hard. You know, I should not probably do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Since all of you know me and we are like a family, I had the great fortune of going to Radharaman temple with my mentor and few of my god brothers and god sisters. And my mentor somehow arranged the Mahaprasad lunch. That was Radharaman's direct Mahaprasad. And if you don't know, Sri Radharaman is Krishna, who's personally manifested from a Shalagram Shila of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who was a disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Shalagram Shila became Tribhanga Murari Krishna, that's our Radharaman. So I was at Radharaman temple behind the altar, exactly next to where Radharaman ji eats his Mahaprasad. He honors his Mahaprasad, he enjoys the bhoga, and we enjoy his Mahaprasad. We were right next to him. And as the prasadam was coming in, I had tears coming out. I was, I was in ecstasy. My throat was like, I was shaking. And my mentor was like, we must thank the pujaris, for arranging this. So everybody is thanking in that row. And he's like poking me, like, thank him. And I'm like, I couldn't talk. The prasadam I was so ecstatic. Like, I want to thank him, but I can't thank because I'm absolutely in that mode of ecstasy where this is Radharaman's Mahaprasad and I'm just, my body is shaking, I'm crying, and I'm just a mess, basically. So I don't know if that is ecstasy or what, but tiny me, insignificant me, just by the Mahaprasadam, if this is the reaction, you can imagine what it must be like to see the Lord face to face. And that's what Narada Muni in his past life, being a son of a maidservant, having lost his mother, having no shelter but Krishna, going towards a northerly direction, towards Himalayas. He's walking, he's going through all this beautiful nature and the scary caves. As a 5-year-old boy, only one shelter, Krishna. Only one word, Krishna's holy name on his mouth. And then Krishna reciprocates in the form of Paramatma within his heart, gives him that darshan. And Narad Muni is, completely ecstatic. He can't even think or feel or anything. It's just like ecstatic. And that's where he says, being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord. Right? It kind of lost in that ocean of ecstasy. And that's what Narad Muni's experience was. It's a teaser for us, right? Before watching a Hollywood movie, generally we watch the teaser, and then we say, "Oh, it has the right action scenes and the right, romantic scenes and everything. Let's watch this movie." So Narad Muni is telling us purposely, so we feel enlivened to follow in his footsteps and have the great fortune to see Radha Krishna face to face. Okay, next verse, Mataji.
रूप भगवतो यत यत तन मनः कान्तं शुचापहम् अपश्यन् सहसोतस्थे वैक्लव्याद इवः. The transcendental form of the Lord, as it is satisfies the mind, desire, and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual, is that which is desirable.
Thank you, man. So the transcendental form of the Lord as it is satisfies the mind's desire, and at once erases all mental incongruities. Incongruities means, I'm sure in geometry you've studied congruent triangles, right? Triangles that are exactly like each other. So incongruities means doubt, things that don't match up in the mind. We think Krishna's, bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. How does that work? Krishna's very dark, but then he's very beautiful. He has red eyes, but he's very beautiful. How does that work? How can somebody dark complexion, red eyes be beautiful? Now, we have these incongruities in our head, but when we see Krishna in his beautiful form, we are like, whoa, nothing, no words can describe such beauty. So much so that Radharani just faints, seeing Krishna from far. Her clothes, gopis, their clothes, become loosened by Krishna. Just his charm. That is how Krishna is. And then we realize, oh, there's no words that have been created that can describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how can one even describe it? Right? So same way here, he's saying that the mind is fully satisfied, the mind's desires, all these material desires and all, they leave us, right? The incongruities of the mind immediately gets erased. And upon losing that form, I suddenly got up. So now Krishna left, the mood of separation, right? So Sambhoga and Vipralambha. These are two very less understood emotions in devotion. In bhakti, there is Sambhoga where one is connected with Krishna, meets Krishna. There's a tremendous joy of meeting Krishna. And there's Vipralambha. Think of when you were leaving Vrindavan. I'm sure for a lot of you, it felt like a piece of you was lagging behind, didn't want to leave. Right? The heart, they say there's a t-shirt in Escort that's quite popular. This design says, I lost my heart at Vrindavan. You'll see a lot of Escort devotees at the Delhi airport crying. And if you're wondering why they're crying, because they just can't leave Vrindavan. Right? So it's like that. But there is joy there also. The joy of missing Krishna, the joy of missing Vrindavan. There is ecstasy and tears of separation. That's why Radharani and Krishna didn't meet for 100 years. Krishna left Vrindavan saying, I'm coming back. And he didn't come back for 100 years. That's why. Because there is actually a lot of intense love. It's painful, but it's also loving, pleasurable in that separation where you're longing for your beloved. He's not there. So all his thoughts keep rushing in and you miss him. Right? He's more present when he's not present. Through the sense of remembering him, remembrance. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So Smaranam, that was Prahlad Maharaj's, shelter, is remembering Krishna. Draupadi's shelter, remembering Krishna. All devotees, just by remembering Krishna, they feel Krishna's presence. Krishna is there. He is holding my hand. His hand is on my head. I'm sheltered by Krishna. Right? So that remembrance, that separation, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, is a very beautiful prayer written by them. Oh Nanda, where have you gone? It's called Shata Goswami Ashtaka. So just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left the Shiksha Ashtakam, the Goswamis also wrote the Shata Goswami Ashtakam. And there it says, oh Nanda, where have you gone? Where should I find you? Should I find you in the forest of Vrindavan or the water of Yamuna? Or, this one or that one, where will I find you? So they're yearning for Krishna. There is tremendous joy and tremendous love in that separation. So there is Sambhoga meeting Krishna. After all that separation, when you meet Krishna, it's like, whoa, you like drank water after 100 years. And that those ecstasy of separation, you're remembering every little thing becomes so significant when you're missing Krishna. Every small thing becomes significant, right? About your beloved. I'm sure you've been in love, if not with Krishna, with somebody. And those small things, small moments become amplified when you miss them, when they're not with you, right? So that's what happened to Narada Muni. Narada Muni was very joyful because Krishna appeared in his heart, and then he vanished. And Narada Muni's ecstasy broke. And he's like, upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable, right? So he was in great shock. The Supreme Lord has left. Okay, next verse. Mataji, please go ahead.
Vidrukshustadah bhuyam pranidhaya manoridhi vikshmanopi napashyam vidruktah ivaturah. I desired to see again that transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the hurt with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore, and thus dissatisfied. I was very much aggrieved.
So that's Krishna's way of teasing us. Uh, all of you, I'm sure, have experienced that joy of some kirtan where you felt that, few seconds of ecstasy, or that prasadam, or seeing the Lord face to face, something in your Krishna conscious journey that has led to you, like, whoa, I want to experience that one more time. That's what happened to Narada Muni. He was like, I want to experience that one more time, the longing to see the Lord's transcendental form, right? And that's what happened here. So he was very dissatisfied. The Lord has left, and Krishna purposely sometimes does that to us, leaves us longing for more. And thereby, we pursue our Krishna conscious journey so that we can experience the joy of devotion. 1 second. All right. Okay, next verse.
Evam yatantam vijane mama mahagocharo giram gambhirakshlanaya cha shucha prashamayanniva. Seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all the mundane, description spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief.
So, seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity. So, Krishna first gave his darshan. Now, the Lord, seeing little Narada Muni in his past life, being lonely in this material world, having no shelter but Krishna, spoke to him with gravity. So, this is something important to understand, that Krishna, he's not a casual person. He does a lot of mischief. But at the same time, he's God. And he's always God. When he's stealing butter, he's God. When he's killing demons, he's God. When he's with the gopis and the gopas, he's God. He's always God. And the godly aspect is simultaneously present with all the things he does. And that is very grave. And that is very serious. So when Krishna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, he's speaking to his dear friend. But it is very serious matter. So he's speaking with great gravity. So here also, the Supreme Lord, thus seeing Narada Muni's, attraction for the Lord, he speaks with gravity. I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm entering my office and then I'll be connecting again. Just give me like 1 minute, okay? Can you pause the recording? Recording again. Okay, so next verse, we will hear what Krishna's saying.
Antasmi janmani bhavan mama drushtamiharati avipakvaka shayana durdashoha kuyogina. O Narada, the Lord spoke, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material things can hardly see me.
So the Lord spoke, Supreme Lord, Lord Narayan speaking. O Narada, I regret that during this lifetime, you will not be able to see me anymore. Stating the fact. Just 1 second. Apologies. So, Krishna speaking. O Narada, the Lord spoke. I regret that during this lifetime, you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. So, this lifetime, over. You will not see me anymore. This is it. Memories for the rest of your life. And here onwards, and he's Krishna speaking, those who are incomplete in service, who are not completely free from all material taints, can hardly see me. Now, the word hardly is important. Here's why. Because that's Krishna's process, right? You have to be perfectly free from material things to be able to see Krishna. But the word hardly is because there are certain nuances, certain exceptions. And those exceptions are when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Srimati Radharani or Krishna's pure devotee allows a little loophole where he's, there is a special VIP access. You go to any temple, there is VIP access. You go to any airport, there's VIP access, right? There are rules for the norms, and then there are exceptions. We are very fortunate to be born in Kali Yuga, that our VIP access is through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are nothing close to being perfect in anything. Having said that, the Supreme Lord, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mode of Radharani, has made the path where even though material desires are there, even though all those things that shouldn't be there, that are right for the spiritual world, by the mercy of the holy name, by the association of devotees, by Mahaprasadam, Holy Dham, Bhagavatam, right? Deity worship, all of these processes, we get completely purified in one lifetime. In just a short period of 60, 70, 80 years, the amount of years we live, and we are ready to go back home, back to Godhead. What if we don't complete it? Still, Krishna says, and Rupa Goswami mentions this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that even let's say you're in one is not you, one is in a coma, they're not able to remember or chant Krishna's name. Krishna says, I will inject myself into your consciousness, you've forgotten me. And I'll remind you of me before you leave this body. I will drag you by the shikha back to Godhead. Once you've come to the process of Krishna consciousness, it's like joining a mafia. There is no going out. Tribhanga Murari. Krishna is Tribhanga Murari. You see, he's always in that bent form. He's like a hook. He goes in the heart, he doesn't come out. He gets in, once he gets in, that's it. So Rupa Goswami says, I warn you, do not go to the bank of Yamuna. And if you do go, don't go on a full moon night. And if you do go on a full moon night, don't come close to that blue boy, blackish blue boy. He's found Yamuna Tira Vanachari, right? He's found walking on the banks of Yamuna. And if you do meet him, do not see his face. Because if you see his beautiful moon-like face, you will lose all attachment for material things, for family, for riches. So if you want to prosper in this world and want to be in this world, do not go to the bank of Yamuna. Do not go on a full moon night. And do not ever go close to that blue boy, reverse psychology. And if you do see him, do not see his face, because once you see him, you'll lose it all, right? And that's what happened to the gopis. They went to Krishna with lust. But by Krishna's association, that lust became pure love. Putana came to Krishna to kill him, to feed him poisoned milk from her breast. But just by Krishna's association, she had a sense of, oh, look at him. He's so beautiful. And her heart melted for a few seconds. But then she remembered her duty to serve Ravana. And she fed Krishna poisoned milk. But because of those few seconds, of all the demons Krishna killed, from Kamsa to Shishupal, there's only one demon who made it back to Godhead. And that is Putana. Because she had a few seconds of, oh, how cute is Krishna? How beautiful is Krishna? Motherly love for Krishna. So Krishna gifted her access to the spiritual world. That is how loving is Krishna. So yes, in this Bhagavatam verse, Krishna is saying that you have to have that perfect sense of, what does it say? Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material tints can hardly see me. So here he is saying that if you are not completely free from all material tints, but he is very merciful. He says some things, but he does something more. He was like Srila Prabhupada, in his Bhagavatam, translations, in his lectures. If you see, Prabhupada is very strict. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no this, no that, right? Follow these regulative principles. But then people will fall down and they would come to Prabhupada crying, my dear Prabhupada, I can't somehow or other control my sex desire. Oh, Prabhupada, I'm so addicted to LSD. I can't give up on drugs. Prabhupada, will I be able to go back to Godhead? Is there any hope for me? And Srila Prabhupada would smile mercifully and tell me, it's only natural that you fall down. It is unnatural that somebody goes on a direct trajectory back to Godhead. Given the Kali Yuga, given Maya, it is only natural that we fall down. Yes, I say a lot of things on the Vyasas, but the reality is this. It is actually wonderful that even after falling down, you're crying and you're wanting to get up and keep moving towards Krishna. And that is our Prayaschitta. In the Hindu system, in the system of Karma Kanta, I'm sure you've heard of the word Prayaschitta, which means you've done some papa activity, some papa, you overcome that with Prayaschitta. But Vaishnavas don't have that. For us, you mess up, you acknowledge, I messed up, Krishna, I'm so sorry. But you don't waste time. You pick yourself up and you say, Krishna, but you are my only goal. I have no other shelter but you. And you keep walking towards Krishna. Krishna, with whatever tuta futa bhakti I have, I will walk towards you with whatever I've got. Till my last breath, I will only come to you. I will have no other shelter but you. I will have no other shelter. No Ganesh, Chandra, Varuna, Surya, Indra. No mind, my intelligence. No this person, that person. So and so is a minister. No shelter. Exclusive shelter to your lotus feet. I might not be perfect. You can make me perfect. I beg you, my dear Krishna. Kindly have bestowed your mercy upon me. Because only if you bless me, I can get over Durga Devi. She's very strong. I can't get over Maya. Daiviyesha Godabai, Baba Maya Durattaya. Baba Maya, Krishna is saying, Durattaya, very hard to overcome, impossible to overcome. It's like an ocean. But Mam prapadyante, Maya metam tarantite. What who surrenders unto me? Mam eva e prapadyante. Prapadyante will surrender. Maya metam tarantite. Tarante means overcome. Can easily overcome Maya. So we pray
What is our process? Our process is, Krishna, I have no one but you. In Prahlad Bhatt, this Narada Muni mode, Narada Muni in his past life, little 5-year-old boy, no mother, no father, no riches, nothing. Exclusive shelter is Krishna, you're my exclusive shelter. You're all I've got. So even if you are very wealthy, very intelligent, very powerful, have all the things, still maintain the mindset of a pauper, a devotee. A devotee is a beggar. Beggar in front of Krishna only, nobody else. Only Krishna. And what are we begging? Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Boli. Dahi Tobo Pache Pache. So we run behind the pure devotee, saying, I'm a beggar, kindly give me Krishna. And the pure devotee lovingly gives us Krishna. That's the only way we have access to Krishna. The Srimati Radharani, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to our Guru Maharaj, all the disciplic succession, to the wonderful devotees of the Lord, they hand us Krishna because Krishna belongs to them, right? The pure devotees own Krishna. That's why Krishna is so hard to overcome, right? Krishna doesn't let us surrender. He sends Durga Devi. Try to, persuade them, go somewhere else. Because if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna becomes our property. So then Krishna is ours and we can give Krishna to whoever we want. And that is the advantage that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes because he's in the mood of Radharani. He tells Nityananda Prabhu, go to every household and beg them to chant the holy name. Give them Krishna Katha, Krishna consciousness. And even if they shut the door on your face, you wait for them, right? And being Balaram, you know how Balaram is. Lord Nityananda would go door to door begging people. But then he was like, let's go to the most person who does not deserve this at all, Jaga and Madhai. Let's go to the bar. My Guru Maharaj used to go to the bar and preach, right? He and the other brahmacharis, they would go to the bar and they would preach there. They would do book distribution inside. I have seen the place in Chicago. It's a place where I have never been to, and most people wouldn't go. But then that's the mood of Lord Nityananda, and that's the mood of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's wonderful, pure devotee disciples, right? So that's the process. So here, although Krishna is saying that it requires full riddance from material desires, still the hope is that we are under the shelter of Radharani's, we are under the shelter of Lord Chaitanya. Hence, with all our impurities, somehow or other, the Lord will take us back by the Shikha, back home, back to Godhead. Even if we are not in a position to remember him, Krishna will somehow remind us. I'll tell you a story. Some of you might have heard this already. This is a story of a dear friend of mine. He's the vice president of ISKCON Chicago, Radharaman Prabhu. So his mother-in-law was at her last stage. She was in dementia, forgetting everything. She had forgotten even how to speak. So anytime she was spoken to, she would be like, oh. But anybody said Hare Krishna, she would say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's the only thing she could speak, only Hare Krishna mantra. So given, this was the last stage of her life, she was brought to Vrindavan. Vrindavan, there is something called hospice, where people who are about to leave their body, they're given proper care, medical care, as well as spiritual care. There's kirtan happening. There's garland coming from, Maha garland from the deities that are coming from Radha Shyam Sundar. There are segments. Somebody is dying in 6 months, 1 month, few days, almost about to die, that kind of thing. So this Mataji, mother-in-law of Radharaman Prabhu, she was there for 3 days. And she was very happy the first day she arrived. The second day, she was also in her full consciousness. Third day, as she was about to take rest, close her eyes, the last thing she said was Radha Krishna. And she closed her eyes and she never opened her eyes again. But Krishna injected himself into her consciousness and allowed her to chant the holy name before leaving her body. And there are many, many, many such examples. But I particularly picked this example because this is somebody I know very closely. And even her, she was very kind to me. She had fed me at her house, and her glorious leaving of her body was a testament to Krishna's mercy. So Krishna says, you have to get 100 or 100, or else I will not take you back to Godhead. But the nature of Krishna and Srimati Radharani is, they see past all our frailties, our gaps, and they say, it's okay, come back. Because Krishna is more eager to see us back But we should not get complacent. We should not be like, oh, it's okay, I can do whatever, and Krishna will take me. We should not take advantage of Krishna's kindness. Then Krishna can also cheat us, right? And he can teach us a lesson. So we should not want Krishna to teach us a lesson. Because when he does that, it's kind of painful. I've been through it, so I can tell you. So it's better that we stick to the principles to the best of our ability. What Krishna sees is not like you're chanting 192 rounds Haridas Thakur or 16 rounds, Avelo Roy. What Krishna is saying is, are you trying to the best of your ability, whatever you can, given your physical, financial, social situation? And that's what Krishna sees. Like when a beggar gives 20 paisa to Krishna, that means more than an Ambani giving $1 billion. Right? Krishna has everything. All wealth is Krishna's. Lakshmi, Sahasra Sata Sambrahma Sevyamanu, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajavi. Right? Hundreds of thousands, lakhs of Lakshmis are Sambrahma in a very, reverential mode. One waiting to serve Krishna. When will it look at me and I'll run and serve Krishna? Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrahma Sevyamanu. Govindamadi Purusham. That's Govinda. So what is money to him? What is $1 billion or $1 trillion? Nothing. But he sees a beggar has given me 20 paisa. You saw the Ram Mandir. There was this lady who cleans with jharu and all. She sent 20 rupees for the building of Ram Mandir. Do you realize the joy that Lord Ramachandra had? There were 32,000 crores or 3,200 crores, I forget, 32,000 crores extra money that Ram Mandir is having. And they stopped taking donations, like we can't take anymore. But the 20 rupees of that particular person was noticed by Lord Ram. Like squirrel. When the squirrel is throwing the dust and Hanuman is throwing mountains with Lord Ram's name inscribed on it. And Hanuman says, get out of the way, squirrel. You're slowing me down. Lord Ramachandra says, no, that squirrel is serving me equally as much as you are. He's doing best of his ability and you're doing best of your ability. So that is how the Supreme Lord sees us. So Krishna does not do scoring based on 16 rounds. Okay, check mark. Okay, you did this. Oh, you went to Vrindavan 15 days, but you didn't go during Kartik. Bad boy. All right? Krishna's not like that. Krishna's saying, what are you doing? What is your eagerness? How much do you want me? Because he wants us more than we can ever want him. Because his ability to love is also infinitely more than our ability to reciprocate with his love. So we can't even imagine how much Krishna loves us, how much Krishna is willing to oversee our shortcomings. What is important for us to recognize is we should continue the spark, the fire of Krishna consciousness. Never let that fire get terminated. Have you seen those gas burners where there's a little fire, right? I don't know. In America, that is a very common thing where the heaters, the fire is called, I forget what it's called. It's called a burning fire or something. That's the fire basically with which the gas goes. And that fire, if it gets extinguished, then the whole house will be cold. It's a small spark. So same way, the spark of Krishna consciousness, as long as it's there, Krishna is there. As long as we invite Krishna, please help. We invite him to our life, Krishna will intervene in our life. The moment we forget Krishna and think, I am big, I have everything I need, I don't need Krishna. Krishna is like, okay, you're good. Let me focus on the devotee who wants me, right? But when we are constantly eagerly asking Krishna, I need you, Krishna is like, okay, I'm here with you. Never think we are bothering Krishna, because Krishna is very much an attention seeker. He loves attention, just like any one of us, right? We are his part and parcel. So we love attention when somebody gives us attention. Same way Krishna loves our attention. Going back to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said in morning class, pure devotee never falls down. And in the evening class, before giving evening class, looking at Radha Krishna and he's praying. Very, he's shaking his head. He's really praying. His tears in his eyes. And a brahmachari is looking at Prabhupada and he's waiting to ask. Prabhupada finally opens his eyes and he starts praying. The brahmachari asks, Srila Prabhupada, what were you praying so deeply? Please tell me, what were you praying to Krishna? Prabhupada says, I was praying that I don't fall down, my dear Krishna. Please Don't let me lose your lotus feet. ISKCON is growing nicely, all these hundreds and hundreds of temples, thousands of devotees, so many book distribution is happening. Krishna, may I never forget you. And the brahmachari was very perplexed. He's like, but you just said in the morning, pure devotee never falls down. Prabhupada, that's why pure devotee never falls down. He's always in beggar mode, right? He's always praying. To Krishna, we are always beggar mode. My dear Krishna, please don't let me fall down. My dear Krishna, don't let me forget you. My dear Krishna, don't let me stop chanting your holy name. My dear Krishna, don't take away the ability to serve you. My dear Krishna. So we're always praying to Krishna, right? And that's what keeps us afloat. The moment we get arrogant, prayer goes away. What comes in? Wo to ho jayega. I can do it. Not a big deal. That's okay. My mother, today, we were going to a little place. It's literally 15 minutes from my house. And she was singing the Narsinga prayer. In my mind, I was like, when we go to Mayapur or long places, if we do the Narsinga prayer, why are we going to this, simple place, close by, and she's chanting the Narsinga? That was my arrogance. Immediately, I got the answer. And the answer was, you know what? An accident can happen between home and that 15-minute distance. And we both could be gone. Padam, padam, bipadam, natesham. In material world, every step there is danger. And I started appreciating my mother's singing of Narsinga prayer. It's like, yes, every step we should pray for protection. We should pray for the Supreme Lord's mercy. There is no situation, no matter how nice it is, that we should not pray. Whether you're in Bangladesh, struggling for your life, or whether in Kolkata, you can do Harinam Sankirtan on the streets and nobody is going to bother you, right? It is a great fortune. In any situation, we should be fully dependent on Krishna. And that allows us to move, to progress in Krishna consciousness. And that attracts Krishna's mercy. That's the secret. So going back to this particular verse, Krishna says, those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. So whatever I just shared with you, when you do that, when there's full dependence, when there's constant prayer, when there's constant longing for Krishna, material things we can't even remember because we are so absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So that's the bhakti process Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. We don't have to push out material things unnaturally. We become Krishna conscious and naturally the material things leave us. We turn on the light, darkness leaves us. We bring in Krishna, Ma Durga allows us to be with Krishna. She goes away and stops using her trishul of the three-pronged approach, Adi Daivik Klesha, Adi Bhautik Klesha, Adhyatmik Klesha. She stops deluding us with her Mayavi Shakti. She says, okay, you're in Krishna consciousness, you're happy, blissful being a devotee. I will stop bothering you with sex desire. I will stop bothering you with greed. I will stop bothering you with pride. And she slowly, slowly subsides and Krishna comes in and Krishna takes over our mind, intelligence, ego. So false ego translates to real ego. And we are in real Krishna consciousness, where we don't have to be reminded of Krishna, but natural disposition is Krishna. Krishna is so kind. Krishna, please help. Krishna, this is for you. Krishna, please don't forget me. Krishna, don't let me fall down. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Constant conversation with Krishna, right? That's the background music of our lives. I will end here. I'm sorry I didn't leave any time for question answers. Is there any burning question anybody wants to ask? Anything you want to share? Any realization? If not, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna and see you next Friday. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.